Tom and Lisa were ecstatic. They had finally bought their dream home, a charming Victorian house with a rich history.
We did it, Lisa, our dream home.
The house stood tall, its old bones whispering tales of a bygone era. They couldn't wait to fill it with laughter and new memories.
I can't believe it's ours. It's perfect.
Little did they know, the house held more than just history within its walls. Something dark lingered, and it was waiting. The couple spent their first few days unpacking boxes and settling in. The attic was a treasure trove of forgotten memories. Furniture lay draped in dusty white sheets, and boxes overflowed with old photographs and yellowed letters. Each item seemed to whisper stories of the past, tales long forgotten and waiting to be rediscovered.
Look at all this stuff, Tom. It's like stepping back in time. Every corner is filled with history.
In the far corner, a tarnished, full-length mirror stood shrouded in shadows. It was ornately framed, its silver surface blackened with age. The mirror seemed out of place, almost as if it held secrets of its own. Intrigued, Lisa walked towards it, her hand reaching out to touch the cold, smooth surface. As her fingers brushed against the glass, the air grew heavy. A shiver ran down her spine, and she felt an inexplicable sense of unease. Lisa rubbed away the dust, her reflection staring back at her. Or so she thought. The image in the mirror seemed to waver, almost as if it had a life of its own.
What the? Did you see that, Tom?
For a fleeting moment, she could have sworn she saw a shadowy figure standing behind her in the mirror, a dark silhouette obscured by the gloom. She quickly turned around, her heart pounding in her chest. The attic was empty, but the feeling of being watched lingered.
Tom, did you see that? There was something in the mirror.
Tom, busy examining an old gramophone, looked up, a puzzled expression on his face. He hadn't noticed anything unusual.
See what, honey? Are you okay?
Lisa hesitated, not wanting to sound scared. She took a deep breath, trying to steady her nerves.
I thought I saw something in the mirror. It was like a shadow, but it felt so real.
Her voice trembled slightly. The attic, once a place of curiosity, now felt ominous and foreboding. The air was thick with tension, and Lisa couldn't shake the feeling that they were not alone. Tom dismissed it as a trick of the light, but Lisa couldn't shake off the feeling of unease. She felt a chill run down her spine every time she thought about it. As the days turned into nights, the strange occurrences continued. The house seemed to come alive with shadows that danced and flickered in the corners of their vision. Whispers seemed to emanate from the attic even when it was empty. It was as if the very walls were speaking, sharing secrets meant to be hidden. Footsteps echoed in the dead of night, slow and heavy, like the tread of something large and unseen. Each step seemed to resonate with a weight that pressed down on their hearts. One night, Lisa woke up to the sound of her name being whispered. It was soft, almost a sigh, yet clear as a bell in the stillness of their room. The sound was unmistakable, sending a jolt of fear through her. The voice seemed to be coming from the attic. It was persistent, almost beckoning her to come closer. She lay frozen in fear, listening as the whisper faded into silence. Her heart pounded in her chest, each beat echoing the terror she felt. She woke Tom up, her voice trembling with a fear she couldn't hide. "Tom, wake up," she whispered urgently, her eyes wide with terror.
Tom, I heard it again. The voice, it was calling my name. Someone is in the attic. We need to check it out.
Tom, groggy and half asleep, tried to calm her down. He rubbed his eyes and took a deep breath, trying to shake off the sleep. He grabbed his flashlight and went to check the attic, but as always, it was empty. The silence was deafening, and the air felt thick with tension. He found nothing. The attic was just as they had left it, undisturbed and eerily quiet. Their dream home was quickly turning into a nightmare. The once cozy and inviting atmosphere had become a place of fear and unease. Desperate for answers, they decided to delve into the history of the house. They hoped that understanding its past might shed light on their current predicament. They visited the local library, poring over old newspapers and historical records. Every piece of information they found seemed to add another layer to the mystery. The house had a past, shrouded in mystery and whispered rumors. Stories of strange occurrences and unexplained events were common. They discovered that the previous owner, a solitary old man, had died in the house under mysterious circumstances. His life was as enigmatic as his death. His body was found in the attic, the cause of death undetermined. The attic, now a place of dread, held the key to many unanswered questions. Locals whispered about the old man being haunted, driven to his demise by something sinister lurking within the house. The tales were chilling and filled with foreboding.
Lisa, look at this. This document might explain some of the strange things we've been experiencing. The old man who lived here, he died in the attic. There's something about his death that doesn't add up.
Could the shadow in the mirror be connected to the previous owner's death? The eerie reflections seemed to hold a story of their own. The more they learned, the more convinced they became that something wasn't right in their home. The pieces of the puzzle were starting to come together. The house held secrets, dark and unsettling, and they were determined to uncover them. Each room seemed to whisper its own tale of sorrow and fear. They decided to seek help. They knew they couldn't face this alone and needed experts to guide them.
We need to find out what really happened here. There's more to this story than we initially thought. We can't do this alone. We need to bring in someone who understands these kinds of phenomena.
Their search for answers led them to Edward, a paranormal investigator renowned for his expertise in dealing with the unexplained. Edward listened intently as they recounted their experiences, his gaze sharp and analytical. He exuded an aura of calm confidence that put them at ease.
You two are not alone. There is a presence here, an entity attached to this house, and it seems to be drawn to that mirror.
Edward believed the entity was trapped, unable to move on. The mirror, acting as a conduit, was giving it a glimpse into their world. He suggested a cleansing ritual, a way to sever the entity's ties to the house and allow it to find peace.
We agreed, hoping it would bring an end to the terrifying ordeal.
Little did we know the ritual would be more harrowing than we could have ever imagined. The entity was stronger than we thought. It was angry, and it didn't want to leave.
The air crackled with anticipation as Edward prepared for the cleansing ritual. He moved with a practiced grace, lighting candles and arranging crystals around the attic. The air grew heavy with the scent of sage and sandalwood as he began to chant in a low, guttural language.
We watched, holding our breath, as the attic seemed to pulsate with unseen energy. The temperature plummeted.
The mirror, once merely an antique reflecting their fear, now seemed to throb with a life of its own. The shadows within it deepened, swirling and twisting like a vortex. A low growl emanated from the mirror. Section 7, the cleansing.
The entity was resisting.
Edward's chanting grew louder, more forceful. He raised his hands, commanding the entity to show itself. The mirror shuddered violently. The shadow within solidified.
For a moment they saw him. A man, twisted with rage and despair, his eyes burning with a cold, ghostly fire.
He lunged from the mirror.
Tom and Lisa screamed, paralyzed by fear.
Edward didn't hesitate. He thrust a vial of holy water towards the apparition, the glass shattering against its chest. The entity shrieked, a horrifying sound that seemed to tear through the very fabric of the house. It thrashed, desperate to break free, but Edward's chanting held it at bay. Slowly the entity began to fade, dissolving into wisps of black smoke that were sucked back into the mirror. Section 8, a lingering presence. As the last traces of the shadow disappeared, the mirror shattered, shards of glass raining down on the attic floor. A heavy silence descended, broken only by the ragged breaths. S1. The house, once filled with dread, felt lighter, almost peaceful.
The air was still thick with tension, but the oppressive presence was gone.
Edward, his face pale with exertion, turned to Tom and Lisa.
It's over, he's gone.
Relief washed over them. They were safe, but the experience had left an indelible mark on their souls. Section 9. A New Normal. Life slowly returned to normal. They repaired the attic, replacing the shattered mirror with a window that bathed the room in warm sunlight. The whispers ceased. The footsteps no longer echoed in the night. The house felt like their home again.
But some things were harder to forget.
They couldn't shake off the memory of the shadow, the chilling feeling of being watched, the sheer terror of the cleansing ritual.
The house held a new kind of silence. It was the silence of emptiness, of a presence that was no longer there. It was a constant reminder of what they had endured. Section 10. Scars of the Past. Tom and Lisa had faced their fears, confronting the darkness that lurked within the walls of their dream home. They had emerged victorious, but forever changed. The experience had tested their limits, pushing them to the brink of terror and back. But it had also brought them closer, their bond strengthened by the shared ordeal.
They learned that some houses hold more than just memories.
Sometimes they hold secrets, and sometimes those secrets refuse to stay buried.
The shadow in the mirror was gone, but its presence lingered in the quiet corners of their minds. A chilling reminder that some doors are best left unopened. Their story served as a warning, a whisper in the dark, that some things are better left undisturbed.